All right, and now joining us in studio, one of our young guns on the KUAM news team, Tomas Manglona. Good morning, Tomas.
Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to share some latest in the regional news. As we know, Governor Torres has appointed Will Castro as his chief of staff. And while we shared a little bit in the newscast, we're going to have more tonight on primetime. And we did get some viewer questions about who was the prior chief of staff before Will Castro. And he reached out to Kevin Bautista, who's the press secretary for the office of the governor in the CNMI. He goes, Angel Demapan was the previous chief of staff. He left in January 2021 after being inaugurated to serve in the House of Representatives. Before Angel was Matthew De Leon Guerrero. And so just clearing up those questions for folks, we're going to have reactions from both the Republican Party and also the Democratic Party on Saipan as well. One of whom, one representative who actually supports the nomination, which of course comes at an interesting time given that the legislative probe that's been going on for about a year now. I left Island, came back, and it's still happening. So after a year or so, of course everyone knows that is going on, and we reported on that. And so some interesting developments there, Bree, happening. And also just wanted to let folks know we have part 3 of Behind the Front Line airing tonight. The first episode was on the burnout that healthcare workers are experiencing. The second episode was on proning, which is what they do to all of the COVID-19 patients, which you can view on our social media pages now. And tonight's episode, Chris and I asked about mortality rates and also ventilator use in the emergency room and ICUs for COVID patients. So you can expect that tonight. So.
Right, and I think the one of the latest data reports that was issued by the Office of Epidemiology, Dr. Ann Pabutsky, in that report, which was released a week ago, it stated that while hospitalizations seem to be decreasing, the use of ICU has been increasing. Yeah. And so when you guys were there, did you get a chance to walk through ICU?
We did, and it was a busy ER. And then, of course, they've had to, kind of transform some of the places to both have non-COVID and COVID related.
Yeah, they're definitely struggling with the space. Bria, as you know, when this surge started ramping up, we had that interview with Lillian, and she was talking about how they're basically, and this is just a little bit of an embellishment, but they're basically cleaning out broom closets and looking for wherever they can put people. And we had a close friend who, his wife delivered at the hospital over the weekend, and they stuck him in this supply closet with no aircon. So they're obviously struggling with space, and again having to have COVID and non-COVID in the same facility.
Right, and so we'll have a new report from a different look of where we were at. We spent about over an hour there at GMH last week, and we'll be sharing more of that each night this week.
Right on.
Right. Great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
Let's go back to that Will Castro thing. So did this, I'm sorry, this just kind of came out of the blue. I thought
Chris, you left when I did.
I know I had to go to I thought I was dreaming. Say what? There's a former senator from Guam is going to go be a chief of staff to a governor in the CNMI? Huh?
But he's been in the CNMI though.
Yeah.
He's
right. Yeah.
People used to actually joke though that he was. They would be like, "Hey, Senator Will Castro? Yeah, oh, he's senator for CNMI because he's always over there."
I think a lot of the questions I've gotten from viewers just asking why now, and so I think that's the biggest question. Of course, we've reached out to Will Castro, who says tomorrow is a better time because he's just settling in.
He's in quarantine now.
Yeah. In quarantine, I believe tomorrow might be his last day, and so getting ready to.
We basically we put out the ask to have him on, and he was just coming up with all these different reasons why he couldn't come on, and I'm pretty sure that's because, it's a pretty big deal, right? So he probably doesn't want to speak.
Well,
here.
we got the press release at 11 o'clock last night, and so it was actually I think dated October 4th, but we got it last night, and
it was from the future.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. Again, as I noted in the initial reporting, they quoted minority leader there, Angel Demapan, and then also Representative Sheila Babata, who ran caucuses with the Democrats and in the lower house in the CNMI, and so interesting to see her name there as well in the press release.
Is Sheila the one leading the?
No, that's Selena.
So okay.
Yes, Sheila Babata is with the Democrats and is quoted in the press release. So I thought that was an interesting development as
Oh,
well.
Well,
Yeah.
we had a comment here. Will Castro's family is from Saipan too.
Yes, I mean that's all. It's you can go to our website and read that there. The last paragraph explains his lineage and
Right.
his connections to Saipan and his work with the Marianas Working Group and the Northern Marianas College. Of course, right. Also, this is just always wanting to set the context for this too, right? It's happening as Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios just testified really against the current governor
Yeah,
in many
yeah,
ways. Congressman Kilili vocal on Facebook now saying he might consider a run more seriously. We had also Congressman Probst do a Facebook Live recently over the weekend saying he's going to run. He's tired of the waiting game.
Oh, he did a Facebook.
He's
Yeah.
saying he might run. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's tired.
Oh,
He's tired
wow.
of the waiting game.
I know
That's-
there was a post. I think you.
yeah, that's a
we were
Facebook
messaging.
Live there. I'm sure you can view it if you look for it.
Yeah.
And
Who's not running for governor over there? Lache.
people are saying it's too early to announce, and we're getting all of these announcements.
I know.
So I think a lot of people just, with, and then of course we have to also mention, along with all of those things, that the tourism administration did contain this COVID-19 outbreak unlike any other jurisdiction.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you. Is it because this is pretty huge? This misspending of money by Governor Torres, the whole probe and everything. But what does like the average person think? Do they think, oh, we're okay, we're going around with no mask, yeah, way to go, Gov, or is it separate? Because I mean, you guys
Well,
are.
I'll get a
Saipan-
better sense of it when I'm in the CNMI. But for those I've spoken with on the ground there, I mean, not having an outbreak in the CNMI, that's huge, right? You can't take that for granted.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
something that
We wouldn't know, Tomas. We wouldn't know what you're talking about here in Guam.
and
but
that's
yeah.
something we can't. But also, it even came up in the during Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios' testimony that the quote unquote success of it all, or whatever that may be, is nothing to be politicized. That this was a community effort, but also obviously an administration was in charge.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
enacted all of those things, and so
Yeah.
he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said.
Yeah.
Over here we got she said.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
who knows? Next year, right after the
Yeah.
election, we might also have, a female lieutenant governor. Who knows, or a female governor.
Right,
Also
right.
in the CNMI. So
All right.
that might change.
All right, good job, Tomas.
Good job. And as Tomas mentioned, he will be heading out to the CNMI, where he'll be on the ground there, filing more stories for us.
And
So-
the special election is on October
Yep.
16. How could we forget, right?
Wow.
And so that's going to determine some sort of majority as well between the Democrats and the GOP as well. So
all right.
There you go,
Lots to look
regional
forward
affairs. And then do you Pacific Matters?
yeah, that's tonight, and you can catch that after prime time. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot going on, definitely. Hardest
Tomas.
working man named Tomas on the KUAM news team.
Good job.
Alright.
Good
All right,
job.
thank you. It's 9:09. Quick break. We're coming back with the Republican Party chair, Juan Carlos